This is the Recruiting Guy Podcast. And now, here's your host, Richard Davenport.
Okay, welcome to this week's podcast. It'll probably be a little shorter just because there's just not as much activity going on in the recruiting world. Obviously, there is some in basketball, but as far as football, probably not going to really get going until the next head coach is named, and then all Haiti breaks loose after that, and it'll be fast and furious. But let's kind of hit on Saturday. Jaylin Williams, forward/center from Fort Smith Northside, 6'10", 235 pounds, committed to Coach Musselman and his staff, and picked Arkansas over Auburn. That was his two finalists, Arkansas and Auburn. He also had offers from Oklahoma State, Texas A&M, Iowa State, Illinois. Jaylin, what will Arkansas get with Jaylin? Jaylin's a versatile big guy that can score inside out. Definitely has a nice stroke from three, nice mid-range game. But he's one of those guys I think that Coach Musselman sees as a guy that he can really develop over the next 3 to 4 years and really turn into what I think could be a top-tier SEC type big man. He's got those type of skills that you're looking for. He's not there yet. I think he's got a ways to go, obviously, as any high school prospect would be. But he's got the tools. He's currently rated a 4-star prospect according to ESPN, number 12 center and number 87 overall prospect in the nation and for the 2020 class. He was teammates with Devontae Davis, the point guard signee from Jacksonville. So, I know that Devontae's thrilled about having him as a Razorback. Now, he hasn't signed. Neither has Moses Moody. Neither one of them has signed. They will sign in the spring. So you just hope that that they follow through on that. Obviously, seems like they're sold on Coach Musselman, and what Coach Musselman and the team did last night's not going to hurt their cause. And so, I think that's kind of what Moses and Jaylin wanted to see, just see how the season played out, and so far so good. If you read today's column in the Arkansas Democrat Gazette or on hogsports.com, you saw where Paul Benincardi, the ESPN national recruiting director, commented on the class, and currently has him number 6 in the country, which is obviously pretty impressive for a coaching staff that's only recruited for about six months or so, versus where many of these guys that they've recruited in the past and have commitments from, they've had to kind of catch up, so to speak, because previous staffs had more long-term relationships than what Coach Musselman and his staff had. But still, you got to be very, very impressed with Coach Musselman and what they've done, really focusing on the in-state class. And then obviously they're looking to have more good news come Thanksgiving on around 2:30. K.K. Robinson will announce around 2:30. That's what he told me. Arkansas or Kansas. I still like Arkansas. Several reasons. After talking to him after his official visit, I think he was really impressed. Again, say it over and over, how detailed Coach Muss and the staff are about their plans and how they broke down his game and strengths and weaknesses and what they can do for him going forward and how they can help him and others get to the league. And that's obviously what all these kids are wanting to do, go to the next level. So, and then obviously Moses Moody and he have voiced their desire to play together, and I think that's going to all point KK towards Arkansas on Thanksgiving Day. But there's you can always be surprised. But I think that KK will be a Razorback, but we'll have to wait and see. KK is also a 4-star prospect, number 20 point guard, and number 90 overall prospect in the country, according to Paul Benincardi. He would be the 4th top 100 guy to commit or sign with Arkansas, and and with KK, that does give him a possibility of maybe getting in the top 5. Right now, the top 6, you got to be impressed with that. But I know people that really look at the recruiting rankings. If Arkansas could pop into the top 5, that would be huge. Paul said that that's a possibility, but he'd obviously have to crunch the numbers to see if that's reality, and we'll probably know sometime next week, especially if KK jumps on and commits to Arkansas. Let's go to the coaching search. I think Barry Lunny Jr. really hit on some things that are really what I think is a good good blueprint, for the next head coach. And you can say whatever you want about Coach Morris. As far as on the field, obviously he didn't get it done on the field. The results in the win column was not even close to being good, and that's obviously why he got fired. But what he and the staff have done as far as recruiting, and I really like, is the regional footprint, basically focusing on Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Tennessee, and Louisiana, going to other areas of the country too, but really focusing on the regional area of Arkansas, and that makes sense because most kids usually go to schools that are within 5 to 7 hours of their hometown, and for obvious reasons, be able to get home much easier. Families and parents to be able to see them play. I think that's big. So I think what Barry said is so true, and I think the next head coach should adapt that philosophy as far as recruiting. And I think you really got to look at some of these guys that are currently on the staff. You got to take a good hard look at them because there's some good recruiters on this staff, and we've kind of hit on that in the past. But I think you obviously got to look at Barry Lunny Jr. because of his knowledge of the state of Arkansas and the program. Nobody is going to know the state or the program any more than what Barry would, and obviously he's produced tight ends that have gone on to the league. So I would be somewhat surprised if he's not retained. Jeff Traylor, because of his ties to East Texas and East Texas and how that's been recruited in the past, and until Coach Morris got in Fayetteville and Coach Traylor got in Fayetteville, Arkansas really didn't recruit East Texas that well. And Coach Traylor obviously is very well known in that area, so I think you got to take a look at him. Justin Stepp, what he's done with receivers as far as recruiting, and I think also you got to look at Mark Smith. He's got strong ties to the state of Texas and has recruited well over the last 2 years. So just a food for thought. But far as guys that I think that they'll look at, I think you got to look at guys that have a better resume than what Chad Morris had. He had a 4-year resume at SMU. Obviously, he was an OC, very successful OC at Clemson. But I think that you're probably going to see the next head coach have a more extensive head coaching resume than what Chad Morris has. I think it's a part of the selling point to not only to the recruits and to the guys that are currently on campus, but obviously the fan base. Got to have some confidence that this next guy coming in will have a higher degree of a success rate than what Coach Morris had in his 2 years at Arkansas. So I think that you look in that direction. I know that, and if you're a member of Hogsports.com posted earlier today that Hunter Yurachek will meet with the team on Monday. Team only, no coaches. We'll meet with the players and obviously go over the coaching search a little bit. Won't give them that much detail, I'm sure, but we'll give them as much as he can and assure them that that things are going in the right direction. It does seem like you hear bits and pieces that it is going in the right direction as far as kind of narrowing candidates down, but I think there may be some coaches that may pop up as far as their names that haven't been mentioned that we haven't heard about. I think there's a good possibility it could be a surprise candidate that no one's even mentioned, but we'll obviously see. I think he'll obviously give the players a timeline when he wants to make the hire, and try to keep them as much informed as possible. Because, like I reported when he met with the team along with Barry Lenny Jr. after the firing of Coach Morris, he just asked the players to give him a shot, give the new coach a shot, and don't jump into the portal. And obviously, the portal just changes everything right now. Said this on a radio show this morning. I think the Hunter Yurachek has to make the hire that he thinks is best, even if it's a guy that's not a big splash hire, because it's his butt on the line. If the next coach doesn't work out, yeah, his job is in jeopardy. But at the same time, if you could make a splash hire, that kind of gives the fan base a little bit of more confidence going forward, and along with recruits and the players that are currently on campus. So those are some things that I think that you got to consider going forward with the coaching search. Is that if you could make a splash hire that is a well-known guy, I know several kids on the team and several recruits have been very favorable to some of the names that have been mentioned, but because of that, there's a few that would be splash hires. But again, I'm a firm believer. If I'm going to make a decision, I'm going to go with my gut and go with the best informed decision that I could if I'm the AD, and go with it regardless if it's a splash hire or not. But a lot on the line going forward with the next coach. If the next coach doesn't pan out, I don't even want to think about the future of the program, just from the standpoint of confidence from the fan base, recruits, and players. Because in my lifetime, I've never seen the program as low as it is right now, and you got to have some confidence and believing that the next guy is the guy that can get things going in the right direction. That's it for this week's podcast. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy it and value your time with your family members, especially your older family members, because you never know. This may be your last time, and just cherish last time to spend with them as far as Thanksgiving, and just always remember that, and be grateful for the family that you do have right now, and embrace it. Anyway, we'll be with you next week, and until then, take care.